It's such a pleasure to have you all here. Our facilitator is already here in person of Praise Onye Hanere. I'm hoping that I pronounced your surname correctly, Praise. Praise, just to give a quick introduction of who Praise is and what she does. Praise is a seasoned UX designer who has work experience working as a senior product designer at Modus Creates. She has also been the user experience researcher at Facebook. Among so many other things, Praise solves problems through research. She's pretty much obsessed with observing how and why people interact with digital products so that she can make these products more usable and valuable to them. Bearing in mind that that is one of the major essentials of a UX designer, empathy, and that's one of the things that Praise actually has as a personal quality. She's a UX research specialist, and her roles involve understanding how she can use data on both small and large scale to adapt digital products, acquire and retain customers, and also optimize by turning changes in products into significant movements in whatever matrix she will be measuring in terms of conversion or revenue. So without further ado, please kindly give Praise a welcome in the chat box. Praise, you're welcome, and officially, the floor is yours. You're welcome, Praise.
All right, thank you very much, Tomura. That was like a lot of big drama.
It's you now. That's who you are.
And it's funny that on the other hand, like I always try as much as possible to avoid all the big grammar. Like just make things very simple for people. Like that's also the beauty about UX. Yeah,
Uh,
it's always like it's very simple for people. So, yeah, I'll pardon you with the big grammar. It's
Thank
nice
you,
once in a
Praise.
while. Okay, I'm happy to be here. I'll turn on my camera probably for a bit and turn it off later on. Um, I know that I have about 40 minutes to do this. It's going to be pretty fast, but I would try as much as possible to carry everyone. I'll try as much as possible to carry everyone along. If you need me to go back and say some things, please let me know. Sometimes I speak really fast, so you just bring me back and say, "Oh no, like I spoke so fast." I'm going to try as much as possible to also make sure that we try and do like a little practical so that we grab whatever we need to do. So welcome to the class, and today's class is going to be about user experience design. I'm not the kind of teacher that would bring notes to teach you. Like I think everything just comes straight from my head, and it's because again, it's because design is more practical versus me coming here with a long a slide deck and all of that. I share with you through, but I'm not that kind of person, and because we are going to do a lot of practicals, I'm going to minimize time as well. So first thing first is user experience design. I don't like to use the Google definition. I don't like to use anything big because as much as possible you want to be able to explain anything you are doing to a baby. So if I'm explaining, you understand what I'm saying. So I like taking it in bits. So I like to say that user experience design is broken down into this: user experience and design. So when I say user experience and design, what I'm trying to say is this: you are a user as a person. That's number one. You are a user as a person. Number two, experience. Experience is what you experience. Experience is, I find it very difficult to explain experience, but experience is what you experience. And design is solving problems. So initially when I first started, or when I heard about design, I knew design was to make things beautiful. But the thing about whatever you see, whatever you saw that was beautiful, um, there was a problem that was solved that made it beautiful. So that's the hidden concept, or the hidden, let me say, understanding of what design is. So starting from user, I am a user. Today, I am a user of Zoom as a software. Today, I'm using my MacBook. I'm a user of this product. The MacBook now, my laptop is a hardware product. I'm a user of that product. Zoom is a software product. I'm a user of Zoom. Everybody here today is a user of Zoom. Experience. Experience is how do we feel, or what is it like for us when we are making use of Zoom as a software? What is it like for me when I'm making use of my computer? What is it like for you when you're making use of your phone? So that is experience. What does it feel like? What is the experience? I don't want to replace that word experience with anything. Then design is all about solving problems. So that's how I try to explain user experience design to. So user experience is all about me as a user, or whosoever is the user. It doesn't have to be me. Everybody here on earth is a user of something. And then the experience we have as users, or the experience we have as users, that's UX, then the design. So I'm trying to solve problems. I'm trying to solve problems for users and also managing their experience. So this definition here says user experience is how a person feels when interfacing with a system or a product. That's also fine as well. So how do I feel as a user when I am interfacing with Zoom? How do I feel as a user when I am interfacing with WhatsApp, with Instagram, with Telegram? How do I feel? That is UX. Now UX is very broad, and so in UX you have user research. In UX you have user interface design. In UX you have interaction design. Now these are all very broad aspects of UX. Now coming to user interface design, interface is interface is your screen or whatever you're seeing. I think there's a definition for that here. So interface, okay, it's not here anyway. So interface is whatever you see, whatever you interact with. There has to be a surface. So there has to be a surface or something you interact with. So that interface, that is what is called an interface. So when they say user interface, as a user, what do I interact with? Like that interface, that's what it means. And so why UX is bothered about, oh, the experience, how does this person feel when they click this button? Do they know that it's going to make them to be unmuted? Do they know that it's going to share their video? Does it mean they are going to present? That's the experience part of it. Then the interface now looks like, oh, what should it look like? So what should the button look like? What color should it be? Like on Zoom right now, I'm sharing my stop share as a red button. So, oh, is that the right button that it should look like? The mute as a button as well that is mute. And is that it has another button that is unmuted. I think for Google Meet instead is going to be an icon. Yeah, so that's interface about how should it look like when the users are interacting. For research, before you go about solving the problem, you need to understand that problem very well, and so that's where the research bit comes in. So people are complaining, or as a user I'm complaining about the fact that I'm using Instagram or I'm using Telegram and it cannot do XYZ. All that needs to happen is for a user researcher, someone who likes to research about users of a particular product. So you see how I took it backward, user researcher, someone who wants to research, find out more of the experiences users have of a particular product, yeah, goes into the market or meets the people who use this product and try to understand their pains, try to understand product, and then come back to provide insights. So that's the research bit about it. I think I've said then interaction. So interaction design also is a twist as well with user interface. So interaction, when you use a website like Apple, or when you use a website like Pixel, or even your phone itself, everything that happens like animations are what we would want to link with to as interaction. I'm already afraid that I'm speaking a lot of big grammar, but I think when we go deeper into these things, we'll be able to understand it. So like I said, a user experience designer is all about focused about the experience. How should users feel using this product? A user interface designer is focused about the interface. What should it look like? A user researcher wants to find out more, wants to get insights, wants to know what are the pains, wants to know what are the goals for users, and how to make whatever product they are researching about better. Um, I really don't want to. I'm just going to breeze through this slide and tell you. And we'll walk through the process of user experience design. Now, another thing you should know as well is that UX design is, or some persons may refer to it as digital product design. So do not be confused. Other places you may see it as product design. Some other places may see it as UX UI, but I would say that all of these are just context and semantics, and that's why it's very good that you understand what it is, so that the different context, or the different words or wordings or whatever people may want to call it would not confuse you. Um, Now, again, you may also see it as human computer interaction. So if you want to further in a master degree or a PhD, you would see some schools who would not have it as user experience design. Some schools will have it as user experience engineering. Some schools will have it as human computer interaction. Some persons will have it as human centered design. Like, it has all of these buzzwords, and everything is still down to UX. So that's why it's good for you to understand what is UX, and then whenever you see the buzzwords, you would be able to decipher. Um, I'm just going to go into details on UX today, and this is the process you follow through when you are doing UX. Um, let's use this five process. There are different principles, there are different ways of doing things. It's just like when you come to an area very new. So if I visit, say, this is my first time in Lekki Phase 1, I will probably know that, oh, when I come in through the toll gate, I know through Admiralty. But the moment I've stayed in Lekki Phase 1 for 3 months, 9 months, 1 year, I would know other routes to go through whatever I'm going through on Lekki Phase 1. So that's the same way UX is. There is no one size principle, like the way 1+1 is equals to 2 in maths. It doesn't work like that in UX or in design as well. So it doesn't work like that in design. But the moment you know what you are doing, you'll be able to develop processes yourself and follow through any process, streamlined to whatever problem you want to solve. Yeah, so down to the process. Why I'm using this process today is because it pretty much covers everything that you would need to know at this level, and this is more like a crash course. Yeah, but it's going to pretty much cover everything that we need to know. So the first thing we have here is research and ideation. So research and ideation still brings me back to when I said user research. The next is information architecture. The next is wireframing. Number 4 is prototyping, and number 5 is user testing. I'm going to take my time to go through all of these, and then we'll practicalize from number 2 to number 5. I don't think we'll have number 1. I don't think we'll have the time to do number 1. So for research and ideation, today we're making use of Zoom for this class, and it's possible that users of Zoom have issues that they probably must have complained about, or they probably prefer using Google Meet to, or using any other web conferencing tool, maybe Microsoft Teams or something else. Yeah. And so what happens in this case is that the product manager, or whoever is the product owner or the product analyst, these are all terms, again, you need to familiarize yourself with. I know that at Use and Tech, we've also done something on product management. So I'm very sure that this is not strange what I'm saying. So the product manager or whichever is in charge of products will definitely see all of these things and request for a research. So it's two ways. A program manager may request for a research, and if you have a full research team, you only have that. The only business you have is to keep on carrying out research on your on your software. Keep on carrying research on your software. Know what competitors are doing in the market, and try to gather insight on the next stage of your product. Because all you do throughout the product lifecycle the research has to be fully involved, and you need to know at what time you need to iterate, do new launches and all of that. So basically, that's what research is. Now, research has a lot of methodologies. The two broad categories for research is qualitative and quantitative. And the easiest way I like to explain it, still back to explaining things to a baby, is qualitative and verbal reasoning. So for qualitative, you know that qualitative reasoning deals with like your mathematics, is more about numbers. No, sorry, quantitative rather. So quantitative reasoning is your mathematics, and this is more with numbers. Then qualitative is like verbal. So now breaking it down again, when you are doing quantitative research, you are all about numbers. You want to know what is 40% of the users of our product saying about it? What is 50% of XYZ saying? Yeah, you're dealing with numbers, you're dealing with statistics. Then when it comes to qualitative, you're more about, oh, what is the behavior like? What is the reaction and the behavior of people towards this product? And so those are the two broad categories when you want to do user research: qualitative user research and quantitative user research. Remember that quantitative is more about numbers, your statistics, and that's where the role of surveys come in. So see those times you carry out some surveys, we also carry out user surveys on we also carry out user surveys in user research as well. And we do some bits of data analysis. I know that use and tech too. We're not new to data analysis as well. SQL, yeah. And that's when you are really going big with numbers with user research, but I'm not going to go into all of that. Then on qualitative, you would be doing things like one-on-one user interviews. You'll be doing things like focus group sessions. You'll be doing things like guerrilla research. In qualitative, you are basically speaking to somebody, asking them a series of questions, watching them do whatever they do, and all you are doing at that stage is, I'm a user researcher here. I want to research. I need to understand why this person is doing X, Y, Z. Why did this person click this button? Why did this person go this route and all of that? So that's about research. Next is information architecture. I like to say about information architecture as the ease of finding things. And why I'm saying this is because whenever you are using a product, for us to use Zoom today is because you understand the information about Zoom. That is why you are able to use Zoom. That is why you should click on this link and log in and all of that. If you couldn't find a way when using Zoom on how to log in, or how to join this class, or how to get muted, or how to turn on your video, that means information, you've not gotten any information through using Zoom. So information architecture, the best way I like to make it easy for people is the ease of finding things, the ease of you being able to navigate. So whenever you are building a software, you know that you want people to make use of this. The first thing that comes to your mind is, remember, user experience. We want to solve problems, and in solving problems, we want to make things easy for people. It's how easy do we want people to navigate through? So imagine if you wanted to use Zoom and you had to go through 5, 6, 7 stages. You would just eat and walk away, or some persons will not even join this session today. So that's all information architecture is about. And in carrying out information architecture, you could use tools like Whimsical and Miro. I currently have it opened and I'm going to show us how it works. When you do information architecture, there's another thing I missed for research and ideation, which I'm going to show us, is building user personas. I really feel that this class is so short for me to talk about all of this. This is what we call a user persona. And basically, your user persona, you want to have a demographic of who your user is, and it's deeper than a demographic, because you are going to be understanding their needs, you would be understanding their frustration, you would be understanding their goals, you'll be understanding like some key attributes and all of that. And so when you do your research, it gives you a broader perspective to who is my user persona. Now, your user persona is actually in two senses. They could be actually your real users of the product. So today, if we work at Zoom, or if anybody here is working at Zoom design team, and we ask them to give us a user persona, we would see a persona of someone like me or you, that my goal is to stay connected to the internet or call conferencing tools using tools like XYZ. My frustration could be that um, I cannot get muted on Zoom, or my frustration could be that I cannot utilize Zoom on my iPad or something. I could have different frustrations, but if you've done user research, that's the only way you could understand my frustration using Zoom. My goal could be that I want to use a web conferencing tool that I do not need to click through so many times. So I want to use a web conferencing tool that does not make use of my video. I could have different goals, but when you do your research, like I said, when you do your research from the beginning, you would be able to define your user persona. Now, I want us to always remember that user personas they could be the actual users of your product, or they could be demo users of your products. I don't want to go deep into personas because it could be another long conversation. Yeah, sometimes in research as well, we do competitive analysis, and this still comes from research, like I said. So it's also a part of, or a method of research. Going straight to information architecture, which I explained. We're going to be making use of Whimsical today, or Miro, to carry out information architecture. We also have something called user journey. And basically, user journey is, I'm going to make it simple. Um, if I'm on a journey today, I'm going from Lagos to Akure, I would go through Lagos Ibadan Expressway and all to Akure. It's the same thing. I was on a journey to use Zoom today, and so Tomiwa sent the link to me to my email, and so I started my journey from Gmail, clicked on the link, I opened my Gmail, went to Tomiwa's email, clicked on it, opened it up, read through, saw the link, I clicked on that link, it opened up another tab and brought me to Zoom. And from Zoom, it gave me a pop up, and I clicked on that pop up. Then it told me it's going to open up my Zoom app, and it opened up my Zoom app. You see, all of these things I did it's a journey as a user. And so I took that journey from my Gmail. And so that's another thing we do in user experience. In trying to understand the problem people have, we try to also follow them through on the journey they embark on when using our products. So we want to understand, how do Lagbaja make use of Zoom? How do I make use of WhatsApp? How do I make use of Twitter? How do I make use of LinkedIn? How do I make use of Instagram? I go through on the journey. For some persons, they may have LinkedIn as a app. Some other persons would have to use Google Chrome to open LinkedIn. So that's another thing we also do in carrying out information architecture and in UX as well. Say our meeting will end in 10 minutes. Tommy, why is it possible for us to join back again with another link?
We can use the same link. So once it's just off, we'll just come back again.
All right. So the next thing is wireframing. When we've done everything from research, we've done everything down to information architecture, the next thing we want to do is to build wireframes. So basically, wireframes are, I want to make it simple as well. Wireframes are the drawings or the diagrams of what we want to build. So it's just like the same way when we're in nursery, primary school, we would use paper and pencil to draw an apple, draw a table, draw something. You see that time when they would give you things to draw without seeing it. It was kind of training your imagination. And so it's not so different from when we are building wireframe. So if I've done my research, I've been able to define my user persona, I've mapped out the user journey, done the user flow. It's now easy for me to say, oh, okay, I can figure out in my head, I can figure out what the solution is going to look like. So basically, there's a picture of a wireframe. Yeah, so this is what a wireframe looks like. So wireframe, you're basically drawing out what your solution would look like. If it's a mobile app, I'm drawing out that mobile app and saying, oh, this is where your login should be. This is where this button should be. This is where this information should be, and all of that. Now, Still on wireframe, we have what we call low fidelity wireframes, mid fidelity wireframes, and high fidelity wireframe. I do not want to go deep into that as well, but this what we currently see here now is a low fidelity wireframe. You can make use of paper and pencil to do this. You can also make use of a tool like which I will show us today. You can make use of a tool like Figma as well, which I would show us today to make use of this to draw a low fidelity wireframe. For me as a person, because I like to use my hands more, I always try to draw on the paper first before I proceed to using any software. That's just me. Like I think more with paper and pencil. Yeah. This is now some persons will go ahead to call this a mid fidelity wireframe. Some persons would also go ahead to call this a low fidelity wireframe. But all you want to do when you are drawing a wireframe is know that um, you are able to picture whatever is the solution you have. Like this one now, you can see that saying, oh, this is the home page. Going to be an image here. This is where the button is going to look like. This is where settings is going to look like. You're able to put all of this in. And this is the reason why we make use of wireframes. The reason why we make use of wireframes is this. We want to be able to make design decisions on time and iterate faster. Versus if I do not do this wireframe, I could go ahead to start building the product. And after building the product, we test with users, it doesn't work. And so I need to go back again and start from scratch. But with a wireframe, and we've placed the button here, it's easy for us to say no. Probably when we've had the product manager go through, the developers or technical guys go through it, whatever stakeholders we have in the room go through it. It's easy for us to say at this point to say, oh, we need to make changes here. We need to do X, Y, Z here. We need to add another page and all of that. So that's the major reason why we do wireframes. Next is prototyping. When we've developed a product, what we want to do is to make sure that that prototype we've created, we're able to give it out to our users and test and also make design decisions on it. And so your prototype could come in different form. It could be a PDF, it could be a physical, it could be something physical when you are doing things like human-centered designs. It could be digital when you are using tools like Figma, which I'm going to show you. It could be anything basically, but anything. The prototype exactly has to mirror our solution. So our prototype is actually our solution before it goes into development or before this is an example of what a prototype is looking like, and that's a paper prototype. I'm not going to play this video, but instead I'm just going to go straight to usability testing. And what would happen is that when this times out, even though I'm going to be speaking as it times out, let's come back again with the same link and we'll be going fully practical. Now, usability testing is the last phase. When you've done your research, when you've done information architecture, when you've done your wireframing, and you've done prototyping, the next thing you want to do is to test. And so I always have, like, this is my favorite saying to say, it starts with research and ends with research. And this is the reason why you want to be sure that what you've built or what you've designed is going to be useful for our users, our ideal users. We say that sometimes, our ideal users. So we take that prototype we've built and go ahead to do usability testing. So usability testing would be us testing with our ideal user, and usability testing now brings us back to user research. And so that's why I say it starts with research. We started this journey with research and we're also ending it with research. Usability testing too is also part of user research. And why are we doing usability testing? Because we want to get real feedback, we want to involve real users, we want to see what their behavior to it, their reactions. We want to get insights from them, and we want to, as quick as possible, go back with the feedback we've gotten and make iterations where possible. Like I would always say, or like I said before, there is no one size fit for when it comes to doing user experience user experience design, but it's always good that you fully understand it and then you can follow through any process. I would be showing us one of the tools I'll be using today. This is Whimsical. I am going to open Whimsical on a plain page and sign out so that I think it's possible. Let me see. Yeah, Whimsical. So Whimsical is a very great tool that you would use as a user experience designer. Figma is another great tool that you would use again as a user experience designer. I am going to open Whimsical. Okay, I'm going to open up Whimsical. I'm going to paste the link of Whimsical in the chat box so that anybody you can open up Whimsical on your own and see how it works. You know where I can find the chat box now. Okay, yeah. See.
Again, Whimsical.
Yeah, so I've just pasted that Whimsical. I'm going to paste another link again, figma.com. So everyone can create an account with these things. And I'm going to paste another one, Miro. I am going to also paste Interaction Design Foundation. When I come back again, I will also paste it again, just in case we don't grab everything. Interaction Design Foundation. A place where you could also go ahead to learn more about UX. I would also place in IDEO. I'll place in a lot of things when I come back again. We have like less than 1 minute, but basically this is a tool called Whimsical, and Whimsical can do a whole lot of things. I am going to be showing us some of the things Whimsical can do. Whimsical can design a flowchart. Whimsical can design a wireframe. You could use Whimsical for mind map, and you could use the sticky notes on Whimsical. Basically, if you understand all the UX process you want to carry out, Whimsical can help you do that. As you're joining in, once this meeting ends, please join back with the same link. And so I am going to be showing us what a flowchart looks like. If anybody has engineering background here, it's more like I like to call it engineering drawing. Yeah, so it's more like engineering drawing. So interesting fact, for someone like me, I do not have an engineering background. Interestingly, I studied English in school. So if I did it, I think everybody here can do it as well. It's quite easy to learn. So do not be afraid when I say, oh, it's engineering drawing and all of that. You just need to master all the principles for it. I would show us what it's going to look like to make use of a flowchart, and this is going to basically be our information architecture. But before we do that, I want somebody to think of a problem or something you want us to solve for or design for, so that we could take that as our case study and not just me designing on my own accord. I want it to be a me and you practical class versus me just teaching you and enforcing the knowledge on you. It looks like when we want to do a flowchart or information architecture or user journey, we use something called a flowchart. And why we use a flowchart is because it's easy for us to see what I'm trying to do now. Easy for us to make flows with this kind of tool. And so we have arrows and boxes and shapes that would be able to practically explain what we are trying to do. I'm only trying to play around with this so that it shows you what we are doing. And basically, when you open your Whimsical and you come to this panel, all you want to do is to say, I want to work with a flowchart because I want to build a user flow or a user journey, or I want to design the information architecture for something. And so I click on flowchart, and then the next thing I do is to click on the shape. And next thing I do is to click add shape. When I click on add shape, the first shape that comes out is always like the rectangle. And the rectangle comes out first because it represents process. If you use a tool like on Draw, I don't want to talk much about tool, but if you use a tool like on Draw, you would see what all of this represents. It's a shape like what's it called now? I think this is called, I don't know what shape to call it anyway, but this shape particularly, I've forgotten the name. What did you say? Yeah, so this shape right now, it's for decision. So when you are doing your drawing, when you use this shape, that means you are trying to say, oh, a user it's at this point is should make a decision. It's either they would do X or they would do Y. And most times you just call it as yes or no. If you want to fully understand what it means, all you need to do is to come and say flow diagram symbols. And basically Google will give you something like this and you would see you practically see what I'm saying. So like this one now I said, oh, this is the start and end. The rectangle like I told you is process. This diamond is a decision. This is input or output. This is start or end. But now do not be afraid or be not dismayed. Many times if you do not want to follow this rule, it's completely fine. It's completely fine. Nobody will penalize you for doing it. The most important thing is that you're able to clearly pass your information. So I'm going to think of a problem for us to solve for, and we will design a simple landing page. So does anybody have anything in mind again before I start? So if you have anything you think, oh, we can design tonight, maybe it could be a landing page for use and tech. It could be maybe we should go for a website for use and tech. I know use and tech already have a website, but maybe we should do that if nobody has anything. Okay, so a website for use and tech. The first thing we want to do for this would be carry out the research. And in carrying out the research, the first thing we want to build is a research problem statement. So why should use and tech exist? What is use and tech about? And so in doing this, I would try to recruit and understand who should be my ideal participants, who would be the ideal users of use and tech. And so once I recruit for those people, once I'm able to identify these people, next thing I'm going to do is to carry out the research. I can decide to say, oh, I'm going to do qualitative or quantitative research. Remember, quantitative research is about the numbers. And so I could go on Google Form, I could go on Typeform, I could use any survey tool to build a set of research questions and ask to say, oh, are you interested in technology? What do you understand by use and tech? What technology stack are you interested in? We would be asking a whole lot of these questions to understand reasons why use and tech should exist, what problem use and tech should solve, who would be the ideal users of use and tech, um, what are the needs of people, what are the goals or what are the aspirations that people have towards use and tech. But we have a very short time frame. We would not be doing the research phase, but instead I'll just go ahead to do build the information architecture for a website for use and tech. And I'm going to be doing a lot of this based on assumptions. So the first thing I'm going to do is to come here and pick and say I want to work with a flow chart. Basically, a flow chart is going to help me with this information architecture. And I'm going to start here. Pick a shape. I'm going to go with the rectangle and write this as website. Sometimes you may see websites, sometimes you may see landing pages. The difference is not so much. I would like to say the difference is technical because the end for in this kind of situation, the end justifies the means. But when you see website, when you see landing pages, do not be afraid. It basically means same thing. The only difference would be the functionality, but we would be building a landing page for use and tech. And in building a landing page, what do I want to cover on this landing page? So for this landing page, I am going to click on, just with my mouse still on landing page, if I hover around this purple, you would see that a rectangle is showing below here. And so I am going to click on this and have this rectangle show here. And the first thing I want to think of is an hero or header. That's what I'm going to call it. So hero or header. hero header section. And that's the section where you will see things like, oh, about use and tech, what we do, contact us, our team. I would explain that to us. Another thing I may want to cover again from this landing page would be, another thing I want to cover from this landing page again is going to be an about us. Yeah, so let's have an about us. Another thing again I would want to have would be, let's say, our services. I would have something that has to say our team. And I could have something for probably contact us. Please, if I'm going too fast, you can mute your mic and please let me know. Contact us. Now, the next thing I'm going to do would be to show that all of these things are subs of the landing page. And so there are different ways I can do that. I can decide to add a connector from here and show that this is coming to this place. I could also bring down this connector down here. I could pick a connector. Basically, a connector is just an arrow. And all I want this arrow to do is to show that it's coming, all of this is connected to whatever I'm doing right now today. It's connected. The landing page I am building is being connected to all of these subheadings. And why I'm doing this is so that anybody who is going to look at this information architecture, they would understand what exactly I've done. So to use my connector, I basically need to come here. The beauty about using softwares like this is that when you hover your mouse around, it tells you what exactly you are doing. When I go to the shape, it says add shape. To connector, it says add connector. To T, it says add text. Whenever you're using any design software or tool, whenever you see a T, know that it stands for text. This is upload image, and this is add icon. In some cases, it could mean more, and this is for a link. So I'm going to click on connector. It gives me this pencil, and I go to where I want to connect and draw that connecting line. In this case, I would decide to draw the connecting line from here and come through here. Now, anybody who sees this would know that this landing page is going to give birth to an hero header section. It's going to give birth to our services. Permit me to use the word give birth. It's going to also give birth to a contact us page, and about us and our team. Now, it's also left for me to say, I want to go deeper and break down these things. And so for the hero header section, I would come here and just put in here, what do I want on my hero section? I could want an image. I could want all of the what is it called now? The different services. So I'm just going to put that in brackets, because when we get to that stage, you will understand what I mean. We could have a CTA. A CTA is a short form of call to action. I should write it out, call to action. And in design, our call to actions in most cases are always buttons. So in this case, the CTA is going to be a button. I'm not going to put a button because I want us to remember that call to action is going to be a button. So in our hero header section, we're going to have an image. We're going to have our the services we have at the top. I'm forgetting the right name right now for it. We're going to have a CTA. If I also want to go further, instead of me listing all of this down, I could also go ahead and write here services, write here call to action, and list all of that. But let's save time and move forward. About us, what do we want to have on our about us page? I'm just going to write text about use and tech. So we would have a copy or a copywriter or someone who provide us content for text about use and tech. Our team section, so we would have something that we would have a gallery. So I'm going to write a gallery of team members. At our services, I'm going to have here display of, or we could say list of all services. And contact us, we could have email, phone number, address, or whatever. Now, if you share this to anybody today and they look at it, they would be able to, even if the person doesn't have an understanding of UX, or for the first time they're looking at this, they would be able to an extent, if they are very familiar with technology or with a website, they would be able to understand the details of this. And with what we've done, we've just decided to build, this is an high-level information architecture for a landing page of use and tech. That's what we've just done. This is an high-level information architecture. If I want to go further, what I would do next would be to say, I want to define the user journey. What points would people find use and tech? I could find use and tech from Telegram. A friend could share me use and tech from WhatsApp. Someone could tell me about it on the road. I could get it from Instagram. I could basically get use and tech from anywhere. And so the next phase for me would be, oh, let me design a user flow for that. But because we're running out of time, we would just do this and we'll be moving next to Wireframe. And this is why I like Whimsical. Whimsical can help you build wireframes. I will make sure that we'll build a wireframe, a low fidelity wireframe for this, what we've designed now in Whimsical, before we progress to Figma. Remember what I said, come back to mode, click on mode, and you would see wireframe looking right at you. You don't need to think much about it. And so we'll click on wireframe now. What we are going to do is, all of these things we've designed here, the information architecture, are going to put it into a wireframe. For wireframe, the first thing you would see here is add elements. Add elements, the elements here are things like images, buttons, drop downs. That's not going to be our focus. We need to get a frame first. And a frame could be a desktop frame, which is window. You could have a plain frame, like your A4 paper. You could have an iPhone X frame. You could have a phone frame, an Android frame, or a watch frame. I'm going to show you everything before we go ahead. So if I'm having a plain frame, you could see that I am just coming here and I'm dragging and dropping this. This is my plain frame. I'm going to delete it now. I'm going to pick another frame, Windows frame. You could see that this looks like what if you open any website on your desktop or your computer or your laptop. And so this frame looks like a Windows frame. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to show us what an iPhone X frame looks like. This is what your iPhone X looks like. So we're going to be mirroring what the design should look like on an iPhone X if you want to work with iPhone X frame. This is just any normal frame. This would go for iPhone 7, iPhone 6, iPhone 5. Yeah, any normal phone frame if you don't want to specific about the iPhone X. This is an Android frame. So if you use a Techno, a Samsung, whatever Android phone, Infinix, you'd see that they look alike of what your phone looks like. I'm going to delete that. This is a tablet. So if you have an iPad, or if you have a tablet, this is what your tablet looks like today. And so you have the frame for it. And the last one is the watch. If you use any smartwatch, you would know that this is what the frame looks like. This is what the interface. So let me even use the term interface. So this is what the interface of a watch looks like. But for this website, we would be designing with a Windows frame first. There's also something I didn't show on the mobile frames. So for mobile frames, interestingly, if you want to bring out your keyboard, that's how powerful this is. You can see keyboard here. and the keyboard appears. If I want to take it off, I delete it, it goes off. If I want all of this, my power icon, my network icon to go off, I'm going to click on status. We call it status bar, and it goes off. But if you want all of that there, it's there. So the beauty about this is the more you play around with this tool, the more you discover things. But now let's go for our Windows frame to do an high fidelity design, low fidelity design of news and tech websites. The first thing we're going to have is hero header section. I'm going to show you this website that would guide us on when building a website. If it's not going to be landing pages, it's going to be coming XYZ. Yeah. So basically, what SaaS Pages does is that it shows you all the features of a website or a landing page you want to build. I'm going to copy this and put in the chat box so that everyone can see it. Yeah. So if you don't want to build, if you want to build with a guide, this is a very good website for you to come here and see. Oh, like we said on our page, on our information architecture, we said we are going to have an hero header section. If I come to SaaS Pages, I have headers here. And so SaaS Pages will tell me what is the best practice. What should it look like when I'm designing an header? And see what they've told me is best practices for headers. Boldly state your unique selling points. Have a call to action, such as start now. And if you remember, when we broke down this, we said call to action directly under our header section. So back to SaaS Pages, have a call to action, use an image. We're going to be using an image as well. Include your target audience in the header, then avoid using off-page links unless it's part of it. And now, what they would also do is to provide you samples of what headers look like. This is a sample of an header. I am going to click on one. Yeah, this is the header of amplitude. Yeah, this is the header of amplitude, and we could go ahead and design this. I am also going to share this page. If you're looking for design inspiration, Dribble and Behance, it's one design inspiration place you could come to get inspiration for. Now I'm going to show us how to use Dribble. Did I just copy that? Sorry. Dribble.com. Yeah, that's that. So when you come to Dribble, you need to create an account. And so you would have the ability to search as much as you want. And so in Dribble, I'm just going to type landing page because that's what we're going to build now. I'm going to type landing page. And you would see different landing pages, different sample of landing pages that would come out that have been designed by different persons. This is somebody's landing page. This is a design of someone's landing page. So if I'm looking for a design inspiration, say, oh, what should use and tech landing page look like? I could come here and type landing page, and I would see different types of landing page. This is another beautiful landing page as well. So if you're looking for design inspiration, Dribble and Behance, I would type Behance later in the chat box. So starting off, we are going to start up with an image. When you come to your sidebar here, you have this image icon here, and you click on it. Okay, yeah, it wants me to upload an image from my computer, which I'm not going to do. You could click on it to upload an image, but when you come to add elements, you could search and you would see video if you want to see video, or if you want an image. We want an image on our landing page. So I'm going to click on image and keep it here. Next thing I want to do is to decide on the position on the of the image or resize the image. In doing that, I want you to use your shift key and your trackpad or your mouse to drag to fit, to have your image fit whatever you are doing. And so I'm basically just trying to fit our image into what would look like use and tech website. But like a very, very simple demo for anyone. And so we have our image. The next thing we said we are going to add would be a city or call to action. I'm going to go back to elements and click on button. So you have solid button or outline button. Basically, this is a solid button. A solid button is a button that it has a very full color, and outline button is this. It's as white or something else as the color, and then has a stroke around it. In this situation, okay, let me tell you when you use a full button or an outline button. There are two scenarios you could decide to use it. This is not a rule. Remember, it's not a one size fits. Many times your solid button is always your primary button, the main button or the main CTA you want people to take. And the outline button is your secondary button. Again, depending on your design style or design components or the design system for the brand, that would also determine what kind of style of button you want to use. But in this scenario, we'll be going with a solid button, and our CTA would be join us. We're going to imagine that we have an image of people pressing their laptops, people in tech or something. And so we're just going to have that image here. And we would also have a text to say, I'm just going to bring things for my head. Use and tech is the best technology resource for newbies. Good. So this is going to be it's going to be an something a text that we're going to have on our hero header section. Now, still also remembered and picture this as our image, so that you don't start imagining that, oh, what is this going to look like? Probably when we go further to do the high fidelity, if it's possible, you would fully understand what exactly we want to do. We could also have this button in the middle. We could have this button at the side, depending on our design style. But remember, right now, this is the stage where we want to put everything on our head, out on a paper. Typically, if I was going to be doing this and not streaming, I would definitely be drawing this on a paper. But then this is the best way I can show what I'm doing. The next thing we want to do is an about us section for use and tech. And so I'm going to go back here, click on text and type about us. Make it large, probably make it bold, and keep it to the middle. So we are going to write a little text about use and tech. I am going to come here and just write, I'm just going to copy a demo text from Google. Anything I could copy from Google, just to speed up things. Permit me. So this is something you need to know about use and tech. At this corner, I could have an image that would want to tell us more about use and tech. And this is here. At this corner as well, we could have another CTA to say, oh, we want you to join use and tech. So you've known about us. We could say learn more, in fact, learn more about use and tech. The next thing on our stuff here is our services. So I'm going to do exactly what I've done. I'm going to do exactly what I've done for about us to our services, or I could do something different. So, and type our services. So for our services, I could have I'm trying to run pretty fast. Our services, I could have images displaying what we do at Use and Tech. Um, Coming. Wow, our meeting is about to end again. So I think that's why I got stuck. Yeah. So we could have images telling us about what we do at Ease and Tech. I want to try to add one more image. If it's not going to be possible, I will try to expand this image, delete this, and duplicate. And so not covers, yeah. And so we could have an header here that would say, what do we do at Use and Tech? We'd say webinars like we're having now. Yeah, so we do webinars here. Another thing we could say that we do workshops. And we could also have another button again for people to know that we're serious. Learn more about us. Yeah. Another thing we could, yeah, so let's move on to our team. It's always very important. People like to say, oh, who is the face, or who are the people behind Use and Tech? So you need to come here and type in our team. And so for our team, we could have an image as well. That is just here. We'll have an image of everybody on the team. And we could decide to have an image of everybody on the team here and also have a text about them, just right beside them. We could have their name here and say, this is Lagbaja. What is the role of Lagbaja? We could call him CEO. Yeah, Lagbaja is our CEO at Use and Tech. And the last thing we want to have is contact us. So how can people reach us? If you notice one thing I've been doing is I've been dragging this stuff. So you have the freedom to drag and make use of the free space that you have and do whatever you want to do. Yeah. So how can people reach us at Use and Tech? We could have we're going to come back here and say, oh, contact us. And here we could have our email address. Just going to type in here, email. We could have email, we could have WhatsApp, we could list all of that here. And yeah, I'm really rushing because I don't want us to miss out with this. We could have email, we could have WhatsApp, we could have all of that here. And WhatsApp. We could make use of icons for that. Let me look for, I could type in here calls. If there's no icon for that, yeah, okay, there's an icon for that just because I'm rushing, yeah. So I could use this for phone call, yeah. If you want to call us at Use and Tech, call us here. We have another icon for email. Excuse me. So this is our email at Use and Tech. I don't know if there's a WhatsApp icon. Let's see. Yeah, there's a WhatsApp icon. Interesting. WhatsApp. So all the different contact method could be here. Another thing we could do here is to create a contact form. So also at this point decide to come here and decide to have a contact form here. And so in the contact form, we'll have things like asking people to fill in their name. So we say name, fill in your name. Let me make this really broad. So fill in your name, you could make that big. Say, give us your email address. If you want to contact us, we could ask them to give us their phone number, depending on what we decide that we want. But I'm going to stop at this point. But at this point, you would see that I've been able to translate from my information architecture to a low fidelity wireframe of a possible website for use and tech. Sorry, I didn't see this person. So you would notice that I'm able to move from research that we did not do. Forgive us for not doing that. Information architecture, which we're able to do. How easy do we want people to find things? How easy do we want people to navigate on this page? To a low fidelity wireframe of what use and tech, if use and tech would be a website, what it should look like. Um, the next phase for this design would now be for us to get into Figma. I posted the link Figma in for now. I'm going to list what Figma looks like. Figma is basically another very, very big tool for us to make our designs in. And Figma is not something that you can learn in a day, but I think instead, what I'm going to do for us to wrap this up, and I think I'll be happy to see someone try this, even on Whimsical Figma, would be introduce us to a YouTube channel where you could learn more about how to use Figma. I cannot teach us how to use Figma in 30 minutes in a day. The continuous tool. So what I'm going to do is when you go to YouTube, type Figma tutorial, or you just type Figma, and you are able to see how to use Figma. You could click on any of these videos. I would recommend Design Course. It's a very great guide. I would recommend Figma website itself. I would recommend AJ Smart. I would also recommend Traversing Media. These are very, very great people that would teach you how to use Figma. When you do whatever you do in Figma, you would have an output like these beautiful things that you are seeing on Dribble. And when you have that kind of output, you are now able to give pass on this to your developers to say, oh, this is what I want this to look like. This is what I want this to look like. I think ideally what I should even show here should be a low fidelity, a low-fi wireframe to show you what it's supposed to look like. But please, does anyone have any questions while I'm trying to show us what the low-fi wireframe on Dribble would look like? Any questions? Yeah, this is a good example of a low fidelity wireframe. The image box. So you can see the image box, everything is in black and white. And basically all that this person has done is to try to imagine what the website, what the software is building for, what the application is going to look like. And so that's basically what we've done with Whimsical. Another useful tool which you can use would be a Miro, but also Miro isn't something that could be taught in one day as well. But I am happy that we've been able to move from what is user experience design to building an information architecture to doing a low fidelity wireframes. So I think this is the point where I would pause now and ask us for questions. And if possible, if we could have a second class for this, then would be able to translate what we've designed here into Figma. But please do not forget to make use of Figma. You want to learn more about UX, Interaction Design Foundation is one place where I show you. Another place which I can boast of today would be Overlay Academy. I'm going to show that to us. Right. Overlay Academy. Yeah. Overlay.com. Yeah. Overlay Nigerian owned. You would be taking you would be taught one-on-one with Nigerians that I can vouch for. I can vouch for everybody here. And it's more practical versus Interaction Design Foundation because Interaction Design Foundation I have pre-recorded classes pre-recorded classes and all you are just going to do is just watch them, versus overlay where you have people that would guide you and tell you this is what to do. This you would have a feel of them guiding you through the entire process. So questions before our Zoom live times out. So any questions from anybody? I think it's going to be too much for me to just keep on going and we're not able to grab things. So at this point, does anybody have any question? Okay, yeah, I can see
Olumide
her.
has a question, Praise.
Yeah, Olumide, go ahead.
Everyone, good evening, Hills and Tech. Good evening, Praise. So my question is, this whimsical you showed to us on while taking us through this program, can we professionally design a landing page like you do, like you did, and present it professionally?
So when you mean professionally, you mean at this stage you want to present it to a developer to develop, right? Hi, Olumide, can you hear me?
Please, yes, please.
Okay, fine. So you would not be able to present Whimsical professionally to anyone. Rather, Whimsical stops at the low fidelity phase. For you to go ahead to present professionally, you need to make use of Figma. You need to make use of, so there are different tools. You could make use of Figma. You could make use of Adobe XD. You could make use of Sketch. You could make use of InVision. But the top three, Figma, Adobe XD, and Sketch. So you would need to make use of Figma, Adobe XD, or Sketch to flesh out, to move, we now call it an high fidelity. So to move from the low fidelity you've done on Whimsical, you are now moving further to the high fidelity. And at this stage, you will now be concerned about, oh, what should the color be? How should it be placed? How do I design it? I've now moved from the UX bit to the user interface bit to say, oh, what should the interface look like? So you'll be able to present professionally after you are done with Figma. And so that's why I said to learn Figma as a tool, it's not a day's job. It's just like saying you want to learn how to edit videos in 40 minutes on Zoom. It's not going to be possible. So that's why I tried to say, let's go on YouTube, watch YouTube videos and see how to use the tool. That will be the best way for you to understand and then design to present. Another way is for you to join, take design courses like the one on Interaction Design Foundation. If you use Skillshare, you could take design courses on Skillshare, on Udemy, on Coursera. There are a lot of free ones, and you could also use Overlay if you want somebody to guide you by your hands.
Praise. Thank you very much, Praise.
You're welcome.
All right, does anybody else have any questions for Praise? This has really been like a power-packed session. I'm so sure that Praise, with all what you've mentioned with Figma, you definitely have to come back for an upgrade course or class rather. But I think Damilare has a question again. Okay, so Damilare, you just raised your hand.
All right, good evening. Thank you, Chris. My question is, I note that with Figma and Illustrator XD and Sketch and the likes, you could share designs in between these apps. Like you could do something on Sketch and bring it inside Figma to be able to edit. Can you also edit Whimsical files into Figma to be able to edit it on from there?
So unfortunately, you cannot do that. You cannot move Figma to you cannot move Whimsical to Figma or Whimsical to Sketch or to Adobe XD. There is no plugin right now to do that. But like you said, I could import a sketch file into Figma. I could use Sketch to open a Figma file, and the same thing for Adobe XD. But with Whimsical, it's just Whimsical. Like your journey ends with Whimsical. But interestingly, on Whimsical, you can also export. I can export what I've done on Whimsical. So say I'm going to present what I've done to I'm going to present it to stakeholders to say, oh, this is the process I've followed so far. I can import the information architecture which I did just to show as a proof to say, oh, I actually did this on Whimsical. I did the low fidelity on Whimsical, and then move over to Figma. Big design companies use Whimsical. As when I was at InterSwitch, I think the last project I worked on at InterSwitch, as a team, we're a team of about 11 designers. One person, we were all together in the room. We've done the research, we did everything, and the next thing for us was to do low fidelity wireframe. Just exactly what you saw me doing on Whimsical tonight. We designed the quick teller app that you some persons use to the quick teller application. We designed it in Whimsical first before going ahead to do Figma. And the reason why we did in Whimsical is let us make all the corrections, let us make all the failures in Whimsical. Like, let's do everything we need to do in Whimsical. When we go to Figma, we are serious. It's now business, and nobody's making corrections at this point because we've taken our time to do whatever we need to do with Whimsical, and then for Figma, we're stepping higher. We're going to the high fidelity wireframes, and we'll be ready to prototype. So there's no plugin that I know yet that for Whimsical to any other. It ends with Whimsical, and your high fidelity journey continues on Sketch, XD, or Figma.
Thank you so
Okay,
much,
thank you.
Grace. I'm sure that has answered Damilare's question. Does anybody else have any question or for praise before we round off? Okay, so I'll just like to ask praise that based on the designs that you come up with, what analytical tools or key performance indicators do you use as a UX designer to like evaluate your designs? Are there
Yeah,
any?
so I
Okay.
get your question. So you want to find out, oh, what we've done, is it success?
Yes.
Yeah, so it depends on what exactly you want to or what exactly is the goal of what you're designing, or what problem were you trying to solve. So we could have a problem where we have where we are saying we have limited where you're saying we have limited or we're having drop-offs. I'm trying not to use technical terms here, but it's really difficult. So we could have a situation where our chief marketing officer has come to raise a query to say, oh, we designed this website and we discovered that a lot of persons are not signing up, or a lot of persons are not clicking the button. So what is happening? What is wrong? And so two things that we want to do that will come to mind is, oh, let's make use of Hotjar, or let's make use of we call this to it maps. Yeah, so let's make use of it maps. So what it maps will basically do is that it would show exactly the points where people are clicking on the website,
Right.
or the points where people are interacting with the mobile app. So all the touch points where people are interacting on the mobile app, the it map would expose that to us. And so when we see that, when we see the results from the it map, we could tell that, oh, probably the button is not in the right location, or probably the button is there, the CTA is there, but people don't know what next to do. Or it's possible that when they click the CTA and they go to the next page, it's difficult for them to find things. So basically, the tool that you would use is dependent on the problem you want to solve. And in this scenario where I told you, where we're talking about drop-offs, it's always an it map that we use, because it map will basically tell you what exactly is happening on your website, even when you are not there.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Praise.
You're welcome.
Okay, so before we let Praise off, does anyone have any final questions? Thank you so much, Praise. I must mention, like, for all the resources you shared. Thank you so much for them.
No problem.
Like I
I feel like
mentioned, we
we
will
had
definitely,
information overload.
it's a lot to
Honestly, I feel
process.
like, yeah.
But I'm sure that with the way the few people who ask questions like that, Larry, he sounds like he's very much aware of what UX design is about. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
very sure that for everybody else who is a newbie with UX design, this particular webinar has taught us and showed us a little bit of introduction into it. And so moving forward, as you all know as well, Hughes and Tech actually offers UI UX as a course. So if you're interested, you can reach out to us on Instagram. Once again, I just want to appreciate Praise. Please, can you just give Praise a round of applause for her time? I mean, she's been here for about close to say 1.5 hours, thereabouts, as much as all of us on this webinar as well. So please just give Praise a round of applause and appreciate her for her time. Thank you so much, Praise. Like I mentioned, we'll definitely have to call you back for an upgrade class, and we're going to be sure to put out our assignments in terms of the practical session as well.
All
So
right. No
thank you
problem.
so much, Praise. In the absence of no further questions, we'll just end the call, our webinar now. Thank you, Elsie. Thank you, David, for appreciating Praise. Thank you, Elsie. Praise, they are popping you in the comment section also. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. I hope it was not information overload. Like,
No,
I
definitely not.
feel
Like
like,
we have a lot to go back to the drawing board with. So thank
yeah.
you so much, Praise. Without further ado, I wish everybody a beautiful night's rest. Thank you all so much for joining the call and webinar. The replay will be sent just in case want to practice and practice. And Praise, can you kindly share your email address or LinkedIn in terms of if anybody has any other
So,
questions?
if, yeah. So, anywhere on the internet, if you just type Praise UX, I'm
Yeah,
typing it in the comments now. Once you just type Praise UX, you would easily find me. And if you
yeah.
send me a message, I will definitely respond.
All right. Thank you so much, Praise. So that's it, guys. If you
Um,
have any questions for Praise, you can reach out to her. And yes, so once again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I wish everybody a pleasant night's rest. So, bye, everybody. Thank you, Praise.
you're welcome. Bye.
Take care.